Hello, welcome back to the presentation of set phrases by Easy English Zoe. This is Tu Nang Jo, and I'm gonna talk in this video lesson about the three set phrases with much. They are much the same as, not much, or nothing much, and so much for. This video intends to help you sound more like advanced learners when you use the English language for your daily communicative purposes. Well, now let's move on to the next slide to explore more. Well, from now on, I'm going to tell you the meanings and uses of the set phrases included in this lesson. Let's begin with much the same. What does it mean? It means almost the same as. It means not very different. Okay? Almost the same as the way something usually looks, or almost the same as the way something usually is. Okay? Not very different from the way it looks. Okay, let's look at a couple of examples. One, how you feeling? How you doing? Or how's the world treating you? Okay, how's the world treating you? The answer is much the same. It means that almost the same as the way I usually feel. Almost the same as usual. Not very different. Nothing special. How you feeling? Nothing special. Like, much the same. Okay, now let's look at another example. Example 2, the village is much the same as it was 50 years ago. It means that the village is not very different from it used to be 50 years ago. Not many changes about the village are seen, and the village still remains almost the same, okay, as the way it used to look 50 years ago. You don't see many changes about the village, so you can say much the same. Okay, now I hope you understand the meaning and use of this phrase. Okay, now let's move on. Secondly, we have not much or nothing much. What does it mean? It means something isn't very interesting or important. Okay, something isn't interesting enough to be mentioned. Let's look at a couple of examples. Example 1, did you like the movie? Not much. Perhaps your friend recommended the movie. After watching the movie yourself, you just realized that it wasn't that interesting. It wasn't as interesting as it was told to be. So the movie left a lot to be desired. And it means that you didn't like the movie very much. So not much. Just say not much. Did you like the movie? Not much. Okay. Another example is like, what did you do on the weekend? Nothing much. Yes, the way you spend the weekend, is not interesting. Okay, you didn't do anything special on the weekend. And you just spent the weekend the way you usually do. Okay, like staying away from the hustle and bustle out there, just locking yourself up in the bedroom doing this and that. And perhaps you were a couch potato watching the movies the whole weekend. Of course, it doesn't sound interesting and you don't want to mention how you spent the weekend. Okay, it is interesting enough to be mentioned, right? So, nothing much. You can say nothing much, nothing special. Okay, now I hope you understand this one. So let's just go on. Let's move on to the next slide. Last but not least, we've got so much for. What does it mean? It shows you finished talking about a particular topic. Okay, so you've spent a lot of time talking about a particular topic, and it's time for you to move on, to go on to talk about another one. Okay, now let's look at the example. So much for imports. Now, what about exports? Okay, so you've talked a lot about imports. Now it's time for you to change the topic and move on to the, move on to the topic of exports. Okay, exports. Okay, so it's so easy for you to understand this one. Okay, I hope so. I just included only one example for this, so I'm going to give you another example, just a verbal one. So much for education. Now let's talk about economy. Okay, so it means that I've talked a lot about education, so it's time for me to change the topic. Okay, and go on to talk about economy. It's time for economy to be discussed. Okay, so much for set phrases. Okay, so now it's time to say goodbye, and thank you for watching. I hope you understand and enjoy the lesson, and please feel free to share and like and share if you find it helpful. And just see you next time, and I will please stay tuned for more videos with the content of the same kind. Yes, so see you next time. Bye bye.